What is going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney. Appreciate you guys for watching this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now, as it does help these videos get out to the public and the channel to grow. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly, and almost every single day if I can, and turn on post notifications too, so you don't miss a single one of those videos that I post. It's only right, you guys. Woo-wee! Y'all see them Buckeyes? Y'all see them Buckeyes? Now, I do apologize, guys. I have not really been covering college football the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season like I've been wanting to. I've been busy with my TV, trying to get fixed and things like that. But again, I'm here. I'm giving y'all some college football content. I will be dropping a kind of a recap of college football from week number 3 this upcoming week. So be sure to look out for that. But today, I'm going to recap the Ohio State Buckeyes game. I'm a huge Ohio State fan. I wanted to recap the Florida-Atlanta game. I wanted to recap the Cincinnati game. Was not able to do that, but here today I'm recapping the Indiana game for you guys. And today, guys, man, Ohio State, the first road test in the Big Ten for the Buckeyes, they showed out, and they showed why I believe they are one of the 4 best teams in the country today. Let's start with Justin Fields. I kept telling you guys in the offseason, Justin Fields is going to be a stud. He's going to be great. He's going to be a Heisman candidate. There's a reason I had Justin Fields number 2 on my Heisman list behind Trevor Lawrence this year. He may just very well win it this year. I mean, the kid has it all. He's a great dual threat quarterback, a former 5-star player that won the Elite 11 over Trevor Lawrence. He's definitely going to be rising up some draft boards when it's time for him to come out for the draft. I mean, the kid has it all. He has the arm strength, he has the touch, he has the accuracy. I mean, he has the understanding of the game. He can read defenses, an explosive athlete. I mean, he just has everything you want in a quarterback. I mean, listen, Dwayne Haskins was amazing. 50 touchdown passes last year. But Justin Fields, he's not too shabby. Not to mention, he can run the football too. And that's why I said in the offseason, that's one of the biggest reasons why I said Ohio State was going to win the Big Ten once again. And they were going to beat Michigan once again and make the college football playoffs. Because Justin Fields' ability to run the football adds a new dynamic to this offense. Dwayne Haskins was amazing. He's a better pro prospect to me than Justin Fields, okay? But what I'm saying is that Dwayne Haskins was a pure pocket passer. He just stood in the pocket and threw, okay? Justin Fields, he's not the thrower Dwayne Haskins once was, but he's definitely not too far off. He can throw the ball. He can sling the ball down the field. Not to mention, he can run the football a ton. His running ability opens up our entire offense, because now you can't key in on J.K. Dobbins. You can't just pick your poison and say, oh, we're going to stop J.K. Dobbins, let Dwayne Haskins beat us. No, because now you have to honor Justin Fields' ability to run the football. It opens things up for J.K. Dobbins. It opens up things for Master Teague, okay? Because J.K. Dobbins today, I mean, the guy went off 22 carries for 193 yards and a touchdown. I mean, J.K. Dobbins is easily one of the best running backs in all football. So now Ohio State, we got the great quarterback. We got the great wide receivers. We got the elite running back in J.K. Dobbins. Because J.K. Dobbins, boy, oh boy, he looks special today running the football. And Indiana, defensively, they're never a terrible team. So again, I'm not saying Indiana's a world beater, but again, to go on the road and beat an Indiana team the way they did, in the style in which they did, was key. Because the last 2 years, listen, Indiana, I respect your program, but the last 2 years, you had no business competing with Ohio State, okay? The games last year and the year before were way too close. They shouldn't have been this close versus Indiana these past 2 seasons. I'm so happy this team is actually just putting their foot on the gas and blowing teams out that they should. Because last year, they played down the competition way, way too much. You need to play and bring it each week, okay? You can't just slack and give up 29 points to Purdue. You can't be slacking versus Maryland. You can't be slacking at home versus Indiana. You can't be slacking at home versus a Nebraska team that was not even ranked last year and expect to make the college football playoffs, especially after you have 1 loss, okay? You just can't do that, okay? Ohio State needs to blow every single team out that they can this year, and I think they're going to do it. And also, I said Justin Fields is going to provide a new dynamic to this offense. We can run the ball now. We can pound you running the football. We can, throw the ball a bunch. Okay, I like our wide receivers. I do worry about the wide receivers stepping up behind Chris Olave, because it seems like Chris Olave has been the guy that's emerged as the number 1 wide receiver, okay? He had a big 37-yard touchdown catch, a great deep pass from Justin Fields to Chris Olave. He's the number 1 guy, and I have no problem with that. But I just worry about who's going to step up, because the other guys have not quite stepped up their game. KJ Hill had an okay day. He had a touchdown. Benjamin Victor, Garrett Wilson's a pretty good player that we have, a freshman coming in. Okay, Austin Max. And again, Jeremy Ruckert too. Jeremy Ruckert, he didn't really do too much today. He had no catches today. Jeremy Ruckert and Garrett Wilson are going to be the X factors for this team down the stretch on offense, because they're the secret sauce to this offense. They're the secret weapons, okay? So I expect Justin Fields to continue to spread the ball around. I just worry about if Chris Olave gets taken away, who's going to step up. I fully believe it will be KJ Hill. Justin Fields, he's still incorporating himself into this offense, okay? He's still kind of learning the offense and things like that. I do worry about the offensive line a little bit. The offensive line is excellent at run blocking. But when we can't run the ball, I do worry about the offensive line just a tad, because they did, allow Justin Fields to get pressured a little bit early in the first quarter. Indiana was doing some good things, blitzing Justin Fields, creating some pressure on him early in the game. So again, the offensive line is the weak link to this entire football team, but again, it's still well above average. I do worry if they potentially have to go up against a Georgia, a Clemson, or Alabama in the playoffs if we make it, or potentially down the road. But again, I like this Ohio State team. I like the way the offense is going. Not to mention this defense. This defense is finally fixed, guys. Listen, Ohio State's always going to have an elite defense, except last year. Last year, the defense was so inconsistent. I kept telling people all offseason, this defense was going to be legit. It's not going to have a back-to-back bad season for our defense. Again, the defense last year was so inconsistent. We had the talent. We just had a lot of people that were inexperienced. And also losing Nick Bosa was key last year too. Now all of our linebackers have 1 full year of experience. Now all of our defensive backs are much more experienced. We have elite defensive backs. Shaun Wade, Jeffrey Okudah, Damon Arnett, Jordan Fuller, Brendan White. I mean, we have one of the 5 best secondaries in all college football, guys. Our linebacker core, Baron Browning, Malik Harrison, okay? Pete Warner, Tub Borland. Our linebackers are legit, and the pass rush is always going to be there. And Chase Young, to me, he jumps out my TV screen. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm looking to draft Chase Young #1 overall if I get the first overall pick, depending on who, it is. Maybe the Dolphins look to move off Josh Rosen or Ryan Fitzpatrick, potentially. I don't know. But again, I fully expect that Chase Young is going to be one of the top 3 picks in this upcoming draft. He's every bit as good as Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa was special, but Chase Young ain't too far behind. He's not too far behind. Chase Young is a stud. I understand AJ Espinoza out of Iowa is a pretty good player, but again, I think Chase Young is the best defensive prospect in all of college football. He's better than Grant Delpit. He's better than all the defensive backs I've seen. I mean, Chase Young's just a different breed, and that guy's a stud. And him leading our defensive line, I mean, it's going to be a scary sight for some teams. I'm looking at teams right now. Personally, I think Ohio State's one of the 4 best teams right now. Okay, I look at Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, and then Ohio State. I understand LSU's a pretty good team, but I think Ohio State would beat LSU if they played LSU right now. I understand Joe Burrow's doing his thing. By the way, LSU fans, you can thank Ohio State for giving you guys finally a real quarterback. I mean, you guys were inept at quarterback for a long, long time. So again, I'm liking the way this Ohio State team looks. And again, we can win in multiple ways. We can beat you pounding the ball. We can beat you throwing the ball all over the field. We can beat you running the football with Justin Fields or J.K. Dobbins. We can win a defensive shootout. Our defense is legit. Our defense is a top 10 defense. We have elite players all over this defense. We're going to be able to match it with the Clemson. We're going to be able to match it with the Oklahoma. We're going to be able to match it with the LSU. Or even the teams in the Big Ten, Wisconsin, Penn State, Michigan. Look, the Big Ten to me, I said it in the video. The Big Ten to me is the best conference this year, top to bottom. Not saying overall, not saying they've been the best conference these past couple years, but based on the depth of the Big Ten this year, it's the best conference to me, top to bottom. Not talking about the top heavy teams, because obviously the SEC has Bama, they have Georgia, they have LSU. The top of the SEC by far is better than most of the Big Ten. But as far as the conference top to bottom, I mean, you got Wisconsin, you got Michigan State, you got Penn State, you got Maryland now, you got Nebraska, a pretty good team, even though they did lose to Colorado. You got Ohio State. I mean, the Big Ten is just stacked overall. Not to mention Northwestern, too. Northwestern's a pretty good team, too. So, again, if Ohio State just continues to play their game, they're going to make the playoffs, in my opinion, okay? The only thing that Ohio State needs to do is just continue to keep competing, because last year, it's not that we lost to Purdue. It was how we lost to Purdue. We lost to Purdue by 29 points. The year before, we lost to Iowa by I don't know how many. It was like we gave it over 50 points to Iowa, the farm school. We can't do that, okay? It's not about you losing. It's how you lose. The committee will forgive you for losing a game if it's close. But if you get blown out, we've seen you're not going to get in the playoffs, okay? We can't get blown out by Oklahoma. We can't get blown out by Iowa in the same year. We can't get blown out by Purdue and expect the committee to give us the benefit of the doubt, even though we, by far last year, were a better team than Oklahoma and Notre Dame, and we should have been in the playoffs. For me personally, last year, I would have voted Clemson in. I would have voted Alabama in. I would have voted Notre Dame in. I would have voted Ohio State in. Oklahoma did not have a better resume than Ohio State. They were not the better team than Ohio State, but again, I understand why the committee picked Oklahoma over Ohio State, because Oklahoma had one close loss, okay? So I get it. But again, this Ohio State team is legit. They might be potentially better than last year because last year we had a great dynamic offense. The offense is not as good as it was last year, okay? And by the way, it just pains me to say this, but man, imagine if we had Nick Bosa last year with Chase Young. I mean, we would have made the playoffs last year. We would have made the playoffs. We wouldn't have given 29 points to Purdue if we had Nick Bosa and Chase Young on the other side too. Just saying. But again, I mean, look at our schedule. I do think we're still going to lose at Nebraska. I think that's the only loss we will have on the season. I said it in the offseason, but again, I think we're going to beat Michigan. I really do. Michigan's not impressing me. Again, offensively, I know Michigan is going to be able to score points. But again, what worried me was the fact that they lost Devin Bush. They lost Rashawn Gary. They lost Chase Winovich. They lost David Long. They lost a ton of great players on their defense. Now, again, we have to travel to Michigan. I fully get that. And I actually hope that we do not go into that game undefeated. I hope we go into that game with one loss because a one-loss Ohio State team is an urgent team that is out to get everybody. Once we get one loss on the season, I'm not encouraging losses, okay? But again, for me to say that going into that game undefeated, I will be a little bit worried because we won't be battle tested, okay? So again, if we can just win the Big Ten with one loss or win the Big Ten overall undefeated, we're going to the playoffs. And I do think we're going to beat Michigan. Michigan, to me, is not a better team than Ohio State. Last year, they were not a better team than Ohio State. And it showed, okay? They're not a better team. They're not. And now Justin Fields, his ability to run the football as well as his ability to pass the football. I mean, Don Brown, the Michigan defensive coordinator, is going to have nightmares staying up trying to prepare for Justin Fields. He couldn't stop JT Barrett. The last 2 or 3 seasons, he could not stop JT Barrett running the football. Justin Fields is a better runner of the football than JT Barrett, and he's a way better passer. Now we have a good defense. We have the defense to match up with Tariq Black, with Donovan Peoples-Jones, with the great offense they have. And again, Michigan, to me, they just have not been impressive. That defense is not impressive. They can't beat Army. So I'm really going to be interested to see how Michigan looks versus Wisconsin. Because Michigan versus Wisconsin, that's going to be a huge test. Them at Penn State, that's going to be a huge test. I'm going to need to see if Michigan's a legit contender because I just don't see it. I was high on Michigan this year. I said Michigan was one of the 6 best teams coming into this year. And I said the winner of the Big Ten will get into the playoffs. It will either be Ohio State or Michigan. But again, Michigan, they just don't look like the same team. Now, they still, I think Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is going to figure it out. I think he's going to figure it out and get them to one loss to where they'll be playing Ohio State at the end of the year. Both teams will be playing with one loss. Both teams will be in the top 6 ranked, okay, or top 10 at least. And the winner of that game will go to the Big Ten title game. And the winner of that game will probably win the Big Ten and make the college football playoffs. Because I think the winner of the Big Ten gets in this year, okay? You know, I just think that's going to happen. And again, I think Ohio State's better than Michigan. I think we're better defensively. I think we have a better quarterback. I think we have better personnel on offense. We don't have a better offensive line. But again, our defensive line is nasty. So again, I think Ohio State matches up with pretty much any team out there. The one thing I will say, I should have mentioned this a lot earlier in the video, there is some holes on our defense. The middle of the field for our defense needs to be addressed, okay? The middle of the field needs to be addressed because there were times where, you know, Indiana, which is not an elite passing team, dotted us up in the middle of the field on defense, okay? So the middle of our defense needs to be addressed. We need to find a way to mix in playing man coverage and zone enough. We need to play enough man. We need to play enough zone because I feel like if we don't get to the quarterback blitzing, I think we're in a little bit of trouble. Now, again, Shaun Wade, you know, Jeffrey Okudah and Damon Arnett, they're elite defensive backs. I get it. But again, there just are times where they're just a little bit out of position. I just don't like that. At times, Damon Arnett and Jordan Fuller and Brendan White, they're great players, but they're a little bit out of position at times. So again, if we can just find a way to mix up the right amount of playing the right amount of zone and man coverage throughout an entire game, I think we're going to be scary. And our defense overall is going to be sweet anyway. I mean, our defense is legit. I see us still losing at Nebraska. I hope I'm wrong. I could see a loss at Northwestern. I don't see us losing to Wisconsin or Penn State at home. The fact that Penn State being played before the Michigan game is a crime in itself. I don't like that. But again, my biggest takeaway, Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins, they're legit players. Justin Fields is legit. This Ohio State team is legit. They're one of the 4 best teams in all college football. They're better than Oklahoma. They're better than LSU. They're better than Michigan. They're better than Texas. They're better than any Pac-12 team you want to name because the Pac-12 is absolutely terrible, okay? That's my biggest takeaway. And Ohio State's going to make the playoffs. There's a reason why I picked Ohio State to make the playoffs before the season started, okay? There's a reason why I said Ohio State was going to make the playoffs and win the Big Ten before the season started. I think you're starting to see it on the field now. I had Clemson, I had Georgia, I had Oklahoma, and I had Ohio State in the playoffs. I'm sticking with my picks. So that's pretty much it for this video. Be sure to comment where you agree with me and where you disagree with me. Buckeyes fans, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video today. Be sure to smash this like button right now if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos weekly and almost every single day if I can. A fun fact about me is I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world. I want to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. Kind of like Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. You get the point. Okay, I want to do sports, television, and radio for a full living once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. So the best thing you guys can do to just help me continue to grow as a young broadcaster is to just share this channel with all your friends, because potentially if this channel really gets somewhere, I want to start my own network, okay? Or potentially if it doesn't, or if I fall a little bit short, I want to go into a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. So the best thing you guys can do to just flat out just help me grow as a broadcaster, help me learn, get other people hip to this channel, just share this channel with all your friends, share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. Also, be sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. And once again, guys, just share this channel with everyone you know. Get everyone hipped and watching these videos. Get my voice out there and heard. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, all that good stuff. It's been your boy, Ghiman Mckinney, or you can just call me Juice. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in today. I really do. Have a God bless day. Stay motivated, you guys, and I'm out.